guys, welcome to the Homestead. So I have long on my channel promoted different solar products, whether it comes to inverters that you're going to be using for your home charging system, batteries. I've done videos before on battery recommendations, and all kinds of things in between. And when it comes to solar generators, I know there are a number of YouTubers out there who hate these things. I have put them through their paces. I have used a number of different companies over the years, and I like these guys the best, the Oupes brand. Now, a lot of people will put these YouTubers out there, will put up videos, and they'll promote them as outdoor or camping, and all that's true. That's fine. Emergency power, sources for different things, maybe when you're traveling or even at home, and that's all fine. But I'm looking at this for a more practical preparedness, homesteading mindset. And I know when you live if you're a homesteader, most of you probably live in rural America, away from the cities, away from the suburbs. That's how I like to live, and that's how I know a lot of my audience lives. So how can these things be used for you? Number one, let's just go through the scenario. We just recently had an ice storm in my area. And for a brief amount of time, some people were without power. And you probably it's been winter, so you've probably had an ice storm where you live too, and you've probably lost power. So when those things happen, your internet goes down. Why? Because you have a router, you have a modem, you have probably a fiber optic line that comes into your home, and that fiber optic line, a lot of you guys are now on fiber instead of DSL and other things. It comes with a little plug-in that plug it into your wall, and that's what powers that fiber optic line on your end. So what happens when the power goes out? The fiber line goes down because it's plugged into your home. Well, it's just like a dial tone back in the day when you grew up in the 70s and 80s, if you remember those days, if you were around back then. When the power went out, you could still pick up that rotary phone, and most of the time you would hear a dial tone because that's on a different circuit. And you could use your phone back then without power to your home. It's the same with internet. If you have a router, if you have a modem, if you have a fiber line that's powered with AC power because it's plugged into an outlet in your home, then you can take a system like this, the Oupes 1200. It's called the Exodus 1200. It's newly released. And you can take that and plug it into here, into the AC ports, and now you have internet. Even though everyone in your neighborhood now is without power and also without internet because they don't have any backups, you can plug that in right here into this unit, and now you have internet, and your modem works and your router works because it's all plugged into here. And now you can get Wi-Fi on your phone. You can get Wi-Fi on your laptops. You have internet now. It's back. And to me, I see that as one of the main reasons why you'd want a backup system like this. Now let's go switch into the whole preparedness side of things. The preparedness side of things is something along the lines of ham radio communications or CB radio communications or GMRS radio communications. A lot of people I know, and I'm one of them, have these types of units in their home. I have antennas. I have everything I need to be able to communicate or at least listen out there to see what's going on. And a lot of my units are, in fact, all of mine that I have right now in my home are DC powered. They're meant to be plugged into vehicles, and vehicles are powered with DC power. Well, wouldn't you know it? This has got DC power too. So you can go ahead and plug those vehicle-mounted, which are normally vehicle-mounted units, into something like this and have power for backup ham radio communications. And if you've watched disasters like what happened in North Carolina and other places, ham radio can come in very handy, especially when there's emergencies to be used for. GMRS is the same way. CB radio is fantastic as well. There's people like, CB radio is dead. No, it's not. There are lots of people on CB radio still today. And all you got to do is listen to some of the Super Bowl channels to determine that very quickly. So this will power everything. You can get the proper connections and plug these in right here. I'll take a cigarette light. One of mine, I think it's one of my ham radio units takes a cigarette lighter. You just plug it right in there. Okay, you can just connect it to your radio. It has that cigarette lighter because it's meant to be used in a vehicle. It's DC power. Plug it right into there. Or they have these 5.5 millimeter jacks. You can plug them right into there. Take the inlines of that radio and then just plug it in. Okay, into one of these little adapters. Fantastic, works every time, works great. I've used it many times for my hand radios. In fact, I don't ever have my ham radios plugged in to anything I'm doing here, I have always plugged into one of my Oupes solar powered generators. Here's the deal with this. I know there's some YouTubers out there who hate this stuff, and that's fine. But the reality is the sun still comes up every day. Now, it may be cloudy where you are, especially in the wintertime. It's cloudy on most days, but the sun still comes up every day. If it ever comes down to it where you can't get gasoline for your motorized generator, which I also have a number of those on my Homestead, this is still going to work because you're going to power it with solar. This one, I think, takes like 240 watt panels, no more than, it's a 240 watt max. So it's a pretty small unit, but you can get a small solar panel and then charge that, use that to be charged. They sell a separate cable that's used to be able to plug in here. It's on the side here, a solar charge right there. And you would plug that in there and you could hook that up to a solar panel that collects the sun power and then converts it to DC and then plugs it into here and then it charges the unit. So you're always going to have power as long as the sun comes up. To me, I think there's a difference between some of these units when it comes to reliability. That's important. And I've talked about that before on my channel, where some of these nickel, manganese, cobalt, or the lithium ion batteries, that catch fire somehow in the middle of the night. Yeah, those things, not stable, not good for your home. But lithium iron phosphate, which is what the Oupes brand makes, very stable, very safe, and that's why I use them. That's why I have them in my home, because I want something that's stable and safe, and also I want something that's reliable. So it comes with the little instruction manual. It's written not in Chinglish, it's written in actual English, which I like that. I like a lot about that. I can actually read it and understand it, and it's got all the information you're going to need inside the manual. Comes with all the cables to charge, obviously. And this is a vehicle cable here, so you can plug it into your cigarette lighter of your vehicle and then plug this into the back and then charge it with your vehicle if you're on the road. This is a great unit for travel. But again, I like to look at these things from a perspective that a lot of other YouTubers are not promoting them from, and that is the fact of using these for preparedness and off-grid emergency uses. When things go wrong, I want to have backups for my backups. And that's why I look at these the way I do. Let me just say I've had a number of people from my audience buy these units and other units like this. They make small units like this, and they also make units that will power your entire home, especially if you daisy chain the batteries. And I'll do a video coming up soon on why I think it's better to not maybe have some of these solar panels that these companies sell. I think it's better to do your own solar panel setup, and I'll talk about that in a different video when I talk about powering my Oupes generators. However, I mean, they do offer options for you, okay? They do offer those. I have yet to have one of my audience members tell me that they bought this and it didn't work, or that it was horrible, or they regretted their decision, okay? I have yet to have that happen. And so, and one of the other things I really like about this company, and I'm not just trying to promote them or to blow smoke for you guys. They actually do a lot of giveaways for people who are disabled, and you can find information on that. I'll put a link below where you can see them on all the units they've given away for people who are medically disabled, who need alternative power sources in their home for different medical equipment, things like that. Please check that out. That just goes to show that this company is more than just a company that's trying to make money from YouTubers promoting their products, which is what most of us YouTubers encounter on a regular basis, day to day. So this is a little bit, I like this company for a lot of reasons. Number one, the product is good. I see a lot of good uses for it. I see a lot of reliability issues with this that other companies don't have, that this is what it sets them above all the others. And then I see them actually giving back to a community. And that's important. So there's all that. Right now, you can find coupon codes for this down below. They're just launching this. It's the Exodus 1200. This is a smaller unit. They sell bigger units. You can use that same coupon code for anything that they sell on their website. Check it out. All the information is down in the links below. Leave a comment, leave a like, share the video. I'll see you next time in the Homestead. Bye! One of the best perks about living off-grid is that I never pay an electric bill. I love being my own power company, but that means when things go wrong, I have to be the one on call. So I try and use reliable components for my power production. For the last couple of years, I have been promoting Oupes solar generators. I've been using them and abusing them, and as it turns out, they are pretty good products. They have power generators for all occasions, and they can be charged by permanent or portable solar panels as well as AC power. They offer true lithium iron phosphate batteries, and this is important. Recently, a family in my area had a different brand that uses the less stable nickel manganese cobalt or NMC type batteries. The unit caught fire in the middle of the night. It was a scary situation and it caused damage to the home, but thankfully nobody was hurt. The generator, as you can see, was a total loss. This drives home the point on why it's so important to employ solar generators like the Oupes brand that uses the much more safe and stable technology of lithium iron phosphate, otherwise called LiFePO4. They offer small generators for travel or for powering an entire home and everything in between. These are great backups to have in a medical emergency or to power a freezer full of your favorite meat products, or as I have shown in past videos, for even backup AC and DC power sources for ham radio communications. If the grid goes down, you're going to be thankful you have one of these units. You can find the link in the description of this video or click on the banner ad found on the front page of our website at AmericanHomestead.com. Right here, that banner ad right there on AmericanHomestead.com. Hey guys, did you know you can become a patron of an American Homestead? They get access to private videos, and we send them gifts from the homestead that we make here on the homestead. And we also enter our patrons into special giveaways that are only available to them. And before you go, please check out these other great videos. Go ahead, click. I'll wait.